Cut. Okay, hey guys, this is our first video together, and we are trying to do something new today. And we are trying to what we thought was it would be good for us maybe to just start reacting to existing videos before we could plan our own videos with our own script and with our own ideas. We will have our own ideas, but we will just be reacting to this particular video by Aevytv, and we have not prepared much. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and we still want to do something before we would delay the plans more and more and more. But we are hoping that after releasing this first video, we will eventually start putting more efforts into this, and we'll start uh, doing what we wanted to do. That we would want to reach people who share similar mindset, intellectuals or deep thinkers or anything like that. So if there are some mistakes in the video, please do not mind it. Let's start it now. And
Yeah.
he's Prashant, by the way. My name is
Hi.
Omkar. इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. Anyways, we're not gonna cut anything now. Uh, how are you going? Like slides? Are you going to go through slides or?
नहीं नहीं इससे ही कंटिन्यू करते हैं.
ठीक है.
We'll
तो
just
the video name is Why Are Indians Still Obsessed with White Skin? We were just like looking for some. Yeah. So
here in the first part.
let's
first,
cut to the main thing. इसमें क्या करेंगे? इसमें क्या डिस्कस करेंगे? Okay, tell me if you have anything
हाँ
to.
तो yeah, in this first part they are showing this school thing, because most of the color discrimination starts from school itself, where let's say this kid is looking at crayon color, and crayon color it's written skin color, so she's trying to match her skin color with the crayon, and she's upset. Okay, hey, this is not the actual skin color that needs to be. So there's some issues probably with my skin. That's the kind of psychological
Inferiority
thought process.
complex
Yeah,
that comes.
it comes. Then they have shown how um, how these foreigners are making vlogs in India, and
You have
kind
watched the
of
video, right? You know what's
meaning.
happening.
I haven't watched the video.
Because how would you know what they are talking about?
It's written no in the captions where they react to Indian content. Unaton why guaranteed to get high engagement, so many homes to something. Okay, just type Pajit into search bar and you will. Okay.
Basically, the discrimination against Indians because of their.
Yes. So she's trying to say that where Indians are trying to validate themselves from get validation from white people, at the same time white people are
Not everyone, but
discriminating.
there's always some minority which is not happy with the immigrants or the jobs being stolen or something like that. So they'll make this, and this is the one reflection of that. If you go to 9gag, actually you'll see so many racist posts on Indians. Like that's where I used to feel at one point like why are this like this and all. I used to feel very angry, and but now it's like I'm desensitized to it. So that is the truth. Like that is the truth.
Correct. When I win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. This is me dropping warm soapy water on India. Oh,
Basically the stigma that Indian don't have proper hygiene and all. Kind of.
Right.
Anyways,
Yeah. How we are often treated with waste. No produce slur that is fortune around uneaten, but now it's everywhere and it's used alongside. Then shitty life of Pajit.
one thing I feel is like one problem the Westerners do usually is that India is a very big country. Like you'll find all kind of different people. People be living in poverty, and there some are rich and all. So it's very hard to describe India in just one single narrative. It's hard for anything. Like you cannot just say all Indians work in IT or all Indians are scammers or all Indians are dirty. Like there are so many castes and subcastes and like 1 billion people living together. So although there have been good benefits of generalizing India into just one, the whole subcontinent, but I think Still, like there, yeah, and I think there are some common problems with all of us. One of them would be this colorism thing.
Mm. In fact, in Chota Bheem cartoon, they are also mentioned about this, where the negative side of characters are darker
Dark
color,
colored.
but on the opposite side, the positive sides are
Mm-hmm.
white. Yeah.
So I think the main question is, why do we have this obsession? And it's not just like only the particular people of particular state has it. It's like everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1, okay. I think she's diving into the history of this.
Yes.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Tamil is the Sangam period.
I think she mentions that in some texts, the dark color has been glorified, like my dark beauty and all. So it was not the case that we have been doing this for a long time. It's
Mm-hmm.
something new.
Yeah. When the Western culture started getting more attention, or rise of Instagram and all those
Well,
things,
no, it's
probably.
before that actually. We'll go into that.
Okay.
Instagram तो अभी है ना recently. So Krishna is dark, yes. So she's basically giving examples that like we have never always seen the darkness as bad.
Okay, so I think this started from the British era, where British people came and they started showing their power over Indians, and they started discriminating. Hey, you are, I'm not the superior as we are. So from there, the complexion started.
No, but like that actually creates hate, right? If someone, if there's a bully who's like bullying you every day, you don't feel good towards him because he's like fair or like you won't appreciate his qualities unless until there is some deeper problem with it. I don't think that's the case. It goes deeper into that. So the point is true that in our own religious text, darkness was never a bad thing to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
be repulsed about. What I feel, okay, first let's see what her points are, and then we'll see, we'll try to build a narrative around it. So, modern interpretation. Okay, one thing I want to put right now after seeing these things, right? So, when we say beauty, I think there, it's not just about the color of your skin. There are so many things. First of all, your facial structure,
Mm-hmm.
how do you look, and the skin tone is also one thing. Plus, if you, let's say if you have fair skin but like there's so much of hyperpigmentation or like uneven skin tone or acne or anything, that
Mm-hmm.
won't look good compared to someone, let's say, who has like a very clear skin tone वगैरह. And I feel there is one, like there is a, we clearly like a brighter skin over darker skin, that is true. But I think the reason, there are many reasons, but I think right now the point was basically only the skin color is not usually, because there's something called
The
common
standard
sense,
of
right?
beauty.
Like if you can tell some person is not ugly and
Mm-hmm.
she's pretty by herself, blah 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 blah. But
Mm-hmm.
for a average common person, if you ask him without thinking much, a human mind can immediately distinguish between a, a attractive face and a non-attractive face. So it's like
Right, right.
wired in us from like a long time, and there are like some factors for that. Maybe fairness is not a factor, it's something that has been added recently, or it's part of a conditioning. uh, but the body knows few things. For us, one of them is symmetry, how symmetrical is
Mm-hmm.
your face is. The distance, like this, there are some proper distances, like your eyes should be this distance apart, your nose should be this distant apart, so that distance between different parts of your face. And then I said, like after this is done, then we have these things like mm,
Don't you think body type also matters?
tone. We're just talking about face right now,
Face,
right?
okay.
So I think first of all it's the structure of your face, and then like the things like the distance between different components, and then it comes to fairness, and then after that it comes to whether the face has any kind of mm, diseases like acne and all.
Acne and
And
all.
what I was reading recently was our face skin is very weak compared to our body skin. I was like searching, I was asking ChatGPT, why do we really need to put so much of moisturizer and sunscreen and everything when my arms don't need that at all? Why do I need to do special care for my face? is there something I'm missing here? And it said like, nee, nee. Face is actually but bit different than the body. There are like few reasons for it. First of all, expressions. Our hand skin doesn't move mostly, right? It just stays as it is. But our face has to move with our expressions. So our skin needs to be a bit of a flexible.
Okay.
And because of that, if it's a thick skin,
Mm,
then
you
we
have
won't be
more
able to like do it
right.
properly. So that's one reason. Second reason is humans have evolved to assess someone's, because humans are social animals for sure. So we have evolved to assess someone within a second. So when you
From
look
the
at a
face.
stranger, within a second you have to assess, is he a threat? Is it a good person? Is it a, like, how does it look like? What is it he? So we have been highly advancing in this kind of perception kind of things that within 1 second we can evaluate someone. So in that case, face becomes the primary thing because your arms and legs are always the same. We have been specifically evolved to be hypersensitive towards face, even minor kind of things. We might not rationalize them if we think about it, but our subconscious basically immediately knows ki why this face, like, it might not know why this face looks, but it know this face looks good, this doesn't. So so body has like more reaction to face. Like if there is some internal disease, it will show up on your face much more than it will show up on your arms or legs, because it wants to uh, reflects its health via the face, right? Because if a body is healthy, it will look on your face. Your face has some radiance or some shine or something. If you are like, if you have cholera, I think your face goes yellow or something like that. So like there are, so what I feel is face is like, if you see like things in animal kingdom, like we have peacocks and everyone's trying to show their reproductive state or how good they are functionally, uh, via some traits. I think humans have evolved to do this, so have their face. If it's not like, see my face, it's so pretty, it's more like if there's some this is happening within me, it will somehow be reflected on my face. If I'm too tired, that will be shown on my face. So I think that's the reason we have been evolved to spot even small differences in faces.
Right.
So yeah. Mm?
1 second. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, I think we can go next.
Yep.
The Chola dynasty, the images of deities.
Cool.
Okay, this one is very much true. Like, I have seen people wanting to take photos with
Foreigners.
random foreigners. I
Right.
think, see, one of the reasons is, right, they ruled us. It's not just because they ruled us. It's like if you see a normal person, like I think it all happens via uh, experience. Like if a foreign national is coming to India who looks white, who is from a white population, then 90% of times we know that this person is trustable, good, kind. I don't know why, like that's how it is. And they are. Like I definitely believe that two societies are living in a very different realities, and the average, if you take the average of the morality of a person or the niceness of a person or the personality of a person, then that definitely I feel is higher in western countries than in Indian countries, because poverty and all, there are so many
Right.
reasons, but I that's like something that we have to accept. We cannot just take it, no, no, everyone is same and all. So that is the one reason. And if I know, if I look at a random person in India walking on the street, I know he's just average person. But the average person who's from a different country who's coming here, first of all, he becomes very immediately no noticeable because of the color of his skin. Plus, all the people that I have seen so far, they have not been violent, they have not been anything bad. Plus, they have reached like so, and we have seen some. We have been taught from our schools that all the innovations and everything, all the advancements in the world, all the research, all the good things, basically there are 10 things that we are using right now in this particular room which have been invented, most of them by the western world,
Western.
right? So
Because they got access, they got privilege uh, before than us.
I don't think it's just a privilege. I think whatever the reason is, in this room 10 things are there which have been built by westerners, highly advanced things, but in their room there is no single thing that is built by Indians.
Mm-hmm.
You can say in India invented zero and all these kind of
But
things,
that's the only
but
thing.
that's like a very
Mm.
small minority of like all the inventions that have been done, right? So that's the case. Like we subconsciously know that this person belongs to a civilization which has directly
Given more to
affected
the
my
world.
civilization and has benefited me as well. So that's why I think there is uh, some attraction that builds like, okay, this is one person who has come. If some person is working in some very high Google kind of thing, let's say, and if you meet him,
Mm-hmm.
mm, then that particular thing develops attraction. So I think it's something like that. That it's not just about the white skin that attracts you, because in India also we have so many people. Let's say if you randomly come across a guy on India who's very white looking,
Mm-hmm.
would you go and take a photo with him? No, right?
No.
So I don't think it's just a white thing. It's the total combined perception of that person that triggers it, not just because he looks white. I'll go and take a photo. So
Right. 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 In fact, in our office also, people, the foreigners, people do give them like, kind of better validation priority.
because that's the thing, right? So so what I feel is you have some bias towards a particular group,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say basically that if you go into some poverty rich area, poverty affected area, there are high chances that you might be robbed or something bad happening to you. But if you feel that you are going to some high end hotel, you know that the audience there will be good and you might make some good connections, they might be rich. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever we go in our life, we have some particular bias towards particular place or people. So same thing happens here as well, I think, because they know that these particular people that that looks like foreigners, they have been beneficial. That's the same thing that triggers to us. If let's say if I would have heard of some particular group who's very violent and all, and I might not have never met any of them, but I have seen media or I have seen
Mm-hmm.
something,
Well
and if
inspired.
someone from that community shows up,
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to make a distance from him.
Yeah, I mean, this is something happens with most of Islamic people in most of the part of India as well.
Yeah, like every
Mm-hmm.
in the world, right? Like Islam has been uh, more or less like looked at like a terrorist religion or something like that, basically. So people fear if they
Mm-hmm.
see someone whose name is Islam. At least not much in India because we have so many Muslims, but
Mm-hmm.
outside, if you hear and see if someone has a big beard and all, like the typical kind of thing, it's very hard to distinguish them from the actual people who actually does all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not their problem as well. Like how can you teach everyone to not distinguish between, like, a human being will react to whatever knowledge or experience he has accumulated so far, and he'll act based on that. You can correct him, you can teach him, but like there are not many resources in the world to do that right now, I guess, or something. So it's like basically you cannot even totally blame him, neither you can say he's like totally innocent to judge someone just
Right.
by their looks and all. So like the world is complex basically. Okay, the Varna system, Kshatriya, Brahman, Shudra, Vaishya. This is
So
interesting.
she is describing about like, did British deliberately create a racial hierarchy in this section?
Okay, but they did not, right? Like this was not, I guess. I mean, what I feel strongly is,
But I would say yes, no, because when you see history in most of the army, uh, I mean the lower army used to be the Indians and the higher uh, hierarchy of the
officials
army are
would be
Western people.
whites. Okay,
Mm.
but that's not a hierarchy, right? That's a military hierarchy, because they know that people who have been born and brought up in England, maybe in a good proper institutions, they have been raised to command an army. They have been raised to build an empire and everything. Those values are very different than the one the common Indians raised in, and they also want to maintain that superiority of this thing, that this is a British
Mm-hmm.
colonialism. This is like a British empire. So this is not democracy that you will just promote anyone to any rank. So
Mm-hmm.
they always wanted to keep the higher officials always British, and the lower ones can be delegated to Indians and all. So
Okay. In this video, she mentioned somewhere that Britishers used to keep reserve opportunities for lighter skinned Indians.
okay, why would they do that?
Deliberate racial hierarchy had an architect was in Commission on Indian Census and yeah, caste was actually race, and that race could be measured. Could you measure it till you measure the length? Oh, okay. Our nose skin tone handle from data. He created into a like. Okay, so they created this multiple hierarchies.
Mm-hmm.
This was in the French cherry. This was published in the census. Okay.
Pondicherry, the black town and the white town.
Blacktown. Mm-hmm.
Like that was true, right? Like the Indian people, most of them who were living in England, in Tamil Nadu, were dark skinned, and the people who were coming comparatively were very
Mm-hmm.
light skinned. So I think the from today's standards, yes, it might look like it's unfair or everything, but I think we have to evaluate events from the culture that was at that time, not from today's standards.
Hmm. This also comes with um, um, the proof of superiority from like better looking people, because like when you when you look behind, a lot of better looking people are because of the good genes they have met with
Mm-hmm.
throughout the time. Let's say someone is from Rajasthan, from royal family,
Mm-hmm.
and they married to uh, married to someone that kept the gene following. So because they had access to better food, better lifestyle and everything, all the time they started being a better looking person,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they also continued having better superiority complex.
Carried the same good looking genes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is possible basically. Like if a male is powerful, let's say if it's a king,
Mm-hmm.
and if the king can attract any kind of woman, and he'll definitely go for the most beautiful woman in the
Mm-hmm.
his kingdom, and the same thing will be followed by his son and grandson and everything. So every if you look at the particular this thing, right, DNA propagation, half comes from the parent, half comes from the dad, half comes from the mom,
Mm-hmm.
and 50% of like the child inherits both of them. So in
Mm-hmm.
the first children, 50% are traits are from a beautiful woman. In the second children, uh, the child of the child, already 50% were, now 25% were from the dad, 25% from the mom, and now 50% will come from another beautiful. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like 25 plus 25 average looking genes plus 75 good looking genes. In the third, the this might even go to 12.5 versus 78 point something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if that happens in the whole family, that every consecutive man of the family or something is basically marrying good looking woman, so they are like uh, uh, they are basically having that good level of genes, or the genes specific to the beauty basically are being passed down. So suddenly eventually you'll see that the woman in the family are like born pretty or something like that. I don't think there's
Mm-hmm.
anything wrong with that. I don't know, like it just feels like a power game basically. If you were rich, you would also want to have a good wife, a pretty looking wife, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it had been historically, I believe. So
Okay, this is the same thing she's talking about, that they give better opportunity to the lighter skin.
I don't think, why would they do that? Like, why would the British give better opportunities to the lighter skinned people? Maybe they had this classification. Actually, wait, okay. Actually, also have my own theory around this. If
Mm-hmm.
you
Tell.
see, uh, how would I how would I name this? So have you seen some people who have these kind of stereotypes that the North Indian people are more richer and South Indian people are not that rich or smart or something like that?
No, I have heard opposite to that.
Hmm.
That South Indian people are more rich compared to North Indian, because
For example, take
like lot of invasion did not actually happen to southern side compared to the northern side.
if you think of this scenario, have you ever heard that in Delhi some people are angry about a population only speaking Kannada or Tamil.
Never.
But have you heard of the same thing happening in Kannada, like Bangalore,
Yes,
where
yes.
so basically one group is migrating to another place. The same thing is not happening in the opposite side. And in Bangalore, you will see people of all kinds. They are like 30% Kannadigas, 20% Tamils, or like there's some distribution like that. But only the problem is with the Hindi people. Why is it so?
Because maybe from historically they are not very inclusive compared to the northern side. Because when you see a lot of invasion were actually happen on northern side more compared to southern side, right?
How does that
So
translate to this?
so because a lot of things were changing in north, and there were very less changes in south. So south people were more like sticking to their culture and everything for a longer period of time. But northern side everything was frequently changing, so that they adapted to that culture. Okay, we are very inclusive. We'll just do everything like that, maybe.
That doesn't answer the question, right? Like, why this happens here but not in Delhi? What I feel is some communities in North India are more migratory. Like they are business kind of people. They would go to any particular town, they'll set up their own businesses, and because of their skills and their morals and values or whatever, they become successful. There are some particular communities in India as well like that, Jains or Marwadis or something like that, right? So they become successful. So because it's like their culture is like that, their community's culture is to go and spread businesses, take opportunities, etc. So that's why they spread throughout India, and that's why they also come here as well. And business communities are rich because business makes you rich. Salary doesn't make you rich. And then they establish this base here. Then they also, and if you are from rich background, you are born with less insecurities, less of something that like lacks a personality, but your personality is developed because you have less of people who, you are basically born in a good environment where no one actually denies you your freedom, no one calls you out for doing something wrong. Like you don't build walls around you, that you don't feel that the world is bad for me, or like so your personality actually grows, and that shows up in people. They are confident in their tone and everything.
Right.
So I think as a reaction to that, something happens. Like if someone, if I'm in my own city, if some random person comes to me and he's very confident and he just like immediately, even I am sometimes like burst by my own friends who are like, they go to, let's say in Tamil Nadu, they go to some shop and they somehow assume that this person knows Tamil. They're like, हाँ भाई कुछ देना है, कुछ ये वो देना वगैरह. I'm like, bro, at least you can at least try to talk in English as well, right? Because even me, if I try to interact with anyone, any auto or anything, I try to speak in English. If they don't understand, they themselves say भैया हिंदी या फिर कोई बोलना है. I'm like, हाँ fine भाई बोलो types. So I give them the chance to basically talk in English if that's the medium you want to continue on, and I tell them कि sir, I'm not comfortable or I don't know Kannada right now. But these people, my friends itself, they are like, they assume, and this is, I think this is what triggers people. That it's not just like, if it had been a Bengali person, maybe they would have been more polite, I guess, I don't know. But this assumption that this person will know, and if he doesn't know, he should know. This is what triggers people, and then that creates this conflict and everything. So it's about the confidence and all this prosperity and money and the intent to migrate to different places and everything. This causes the issue. Because Tamils don't migrate to Delhi. How many of them are there? Even if there are, they are like a small minority who's doing some job or some labor or something. The problem is when you are the dominant, you are a powerful person in a foreign land, and the locals feel, because the locals won't feel intimidated by some worker who has come to their land. They feel intimidated by someone who's actually intimidating them right now because of his own influence.
Right.
So I think that's the issue in summary. So yeah.
So now she's talking about the science behind the color.
I think the science is simple, right? Like we have this melanin.
Melanin.
The more you have, the darker you get, and because to protect from the sunlight, the UV rays, our screen will release melanin. That's why the tanning happens as well, because melanin will protect your DNA damage, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how your DNA
And because
won't.
we are near the equator, we get more sunlight, and
Hmm.
naturally our melanin is more.
Hmm. Yeah, the same thing basically. You'll get darker, lighter people, ancestral South Indians.
So the foreigners who are staying in India, it would be so tough for them to get, I mean, stay protected from UV rays, right? Because they are not used to very um, high UV rays.
That's why they use sunscreen. No? Today we are living in a modern world where these things can be adjusted. What's the chapter B?
15 minutes.
The business of skin color.
Did
Okay.
companies exploit color bias?
Yeah, so true, like I think this happens a lot. We have seen Fair and Lovely and this kind of creams, but this is like a consequence, right? So let's say at first we agreed that okay, white skin is superior, and then some companies definitely took opportunistic uh, leverage of
monetize on
that to
it,
try to monetize on it, and then it got like, if previously it was this concept, this notion was only between the rich classes and the upper middle classes, then eventually because of these companies every TV started showing ads, and this inferiority was like broadcasted to all the villages who had TVs and everything, and now everyone starts feeling bad because of their black. And I think there's one more thing, like in fragmented societies where like people are struggling with their own egos and all, some people will amplify this. For example, if let's say previously no one really cared who's white or black in a particular village, because someone sees on ad he sees black people was treated like that, and if for some reason he's not that black, or he's like somewhere between fair and black, or he's like let's say fair for some reason, to protect his own ego, now he'll weaponize that particular information, and he'll start abusing the other person. If that ad never had come, or if there was no such notion before, now it will be spread by some people of the village itself, because now they feel ki, okay, I'm superior because you just gave some people some something to hold on to their ego. Let's see, because because like blackness is bad, whiteness is good, so you're white, so you should feel good because you're superior, something like that. And now the village now is divided by their own people, and now the ones who want to gain some ego satisfaction will try to again spread the same ideology to just feel good about themselves. So it just gets worse and worse and worse. It starts with, yeah, like same thing, right? It started when the British controlled India. I think even if you see before British, like there were so many years of control of Muslims as well. And if you see, some of the Muslims are very fair. Maybe those who are, I don't know, coming from good families or something. But
But they,
I have seen, right? Yes, in some Muslims are very good skin, very good structure and everything. So I think it's not just after British came. I think it was before that as well. Somewhere between India losing its own civilizational control over its own religion and everything, and then it after 11th 12th century or something, I think that's when it started, when Muslims attacked, and slowly. But the problem is, we first, like we say, right, like, see, they attacked us, they are the bad people, etc., etc. But this thing is very true. What were you doing? If some random person from some random country comes and attacks you and steals your woman and like murders your children, what were you doing? What kind of society is it that you have that couldn't even protect itself? Then it deserves to be burned. Maybe not deserved, but like, then basically don't blame other persons. Blame yourself. You didn't fix your gates of your own home, and then you're complaining that how thieves come and like stole and everything. So I feel there's this perspective. If we take this perspective of taking accountability, taking responsibility, because being a victim is very easy, right? Just
Right.
saying, no, no, I was never the person. I think so. I think that was one case. Like maybe at one point of time in India's history, no one really cared about all this white and black and everything thing.
But maybe there could be one thing like um, Indians allowed people to come and they did some shady stuff and betrayed people and
Again, that's again
that.
that against you. Your phone has a system where you can grant permissions and
Hmm.
everything, but it's your responsibility still to make sure only to grant permission to the right people. If your system is flawed enough to grant permission to everyone, and if the virus then abuses you, is it the virus fault or is it your fault? You can always say, like, see, you can
Hmm.
always have two kind of things world views perspective. You can always be in a victim mode, or you can always be in accountability mode, or you can be somewhere in between. Most of
Hmm.
the world is somewhere in between. But the more you shift towards the accountability mode, the better life gets good for you, because the more you feel that you are accountable, the more you realize that you have control your life over your life. Because
Hmm.
if something bad happened, because you assume that it was because of your lack of control, at least you're accepting that you have some control for the future events. If you're just
Right.
saying that it happened outside my sphere of control,
Hmm.
you're also accepting that whatever happens tomorrow is also I have no control over. That just brings misery. No one likes to feel that they are under more misery without any control. So I think it's always good
Hmm.
to accept accountability. At least it yeah, it's just the things are bad currently, but at least you have some hope by this particular viewpoint that tomorrow is in your hands still.
Right. Right.
So yeah. So I think this ads point is like just something in between. Like this doesn't explain the root cause. So we are almost, if you see, we are one third into the video and we still have not discussed what where the root cause is, or like I think just like we
Yeah.
just felt it just felt like we have jumped from one topic to another, but like there doesn't seem to be any continuous chain of thought. Here as well you have seen, right? Like some
Get it. Get
white
it.
characters will be painted black to act in some kind of series.
Hmm.
Now the requirement is that the public connects with some,
White people.
not white people basically. If the character is like a person who has this Super 30 movie, right?
Hmm.
You cannot just show him white because he was not white.
Right.
So you have to show him black. But then you cannot hire a black person because there are not many black successful actors in Bollywood. So you
Hmm.
have to do this, which looks odd from a rationalistic perspective. But that is the best thing they could come up with to guarantee a film success, at least to a certain extent. Plus, to also, and then they validate, like saying that this person also has good um, acting skills, etc., etc., and
Hmm.
so many things. So, but the underlying situation itself is like fucked in a sense, right? So the beam comes again, the Kalia. So I think this again, like I don't think when the people were writing script or writing characters for this thing, they were actually saying, no, no, we will make all the bad people brown or dark skinned or something. I think because their mind themselves were conditioned like this, they didn't think
That
of
the
it like
character will be something
there was no
like.
evil intent to basically make a character black to project something like all the black people are bad. But that's the reality they were brought up in. The
Hmm.
person who wrote it.
Yeah. When you see like lot of goons or I
Mm.
mean from
The heroes in
older
South Indian
movies.
movies are
Yeah.
always fair,
Right.
and the goons are always dark skinned and all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think there is some truth to it, to be honest. Like I said, rich people from rich communities usually are whiter.
Hmm.
If you take an average,
Hmm.
poor people from poor communities usually are blacker,
Darker. Hmm.
and that is an observation you see in your world. You cannot
Right.
deny this.
Hmm.
That is the truth in
Right.
India, at least. You
Right.
cannot deny this, and that's how everything comes down to.
Hmm.
This all is a like result of that. And
Correct.
then you have to question the main thing, that why is this the case? Why are people from rich communities are whiter, and why are people from poor communities are like more?
Because they're not exposed to sunlight comparatively.
How can sunlight be the issue? This is systematic. More, this goes deeper than that. I don't think sunlight, like you will see so many rich families in South India's Indian states as well.
So how you are saying sunlight does not affect?
What?
So see, in South India, most people are dark because they are exposed to more sunlight, no? Because
They have sunscreens today.
now,
It's
okay,
not like that. What I'm
so
saying is
because
because
it's
their
been carried
ancestors,
forward from
exactly,
ancestors, no?
that's the thing.
Mm.
But like, I mean, that just tells you a link between. So if you see Northeast people are very fair, the Kashmiri people are very
Mm.
fair, and South Indians people are
Because
very
of the
average.
geographical reason.
So, but that doesn't tell you. At one point of time in India, there were people who were like they were richer kingdoms in South, like Vijayanagara Empire and everything, which were very rich.
Mm.
We were compared to all the richer kingdoms on South as well, right? So I don't think. Basically, do you think if you go to USA and if you ask any black person, they feel they are inferior? Do you feel that inferior as in inferior about their skin color?
Not really, but people uh, do used to discriminate them.
Well,
So
I'm not caring about the history. I'm saying today, do you think the black people will feel
no,
no,
not
right?
really.
So it's not about color. Like I don't think no one. It's a manufactured mindset. I don't think a human being internally innately has the capacity to think that a white person is superior or a white skinned person is superior. I don't think that's the case. It's what he has seen from his childhood so far and what conditioning he has been put into. That's the result of all these things. And this could be a problem that could be fixed. I don't think Indians in like ancient times used to discriminate from black and white. Like the person says, right? Like he has given Krishna is dark color. Do we see any discrimination against him in Mahabharata or anywhere where he was like, no, no one really cared at that time whether you are dark or like because you are valued by your personality, your morals, your ethics, and everything.
Your work.
And that happens only when society is evolved enough to care for all these things. If society is struggling for survival the next day, they won't really care about all that thing. They'll care about what brings them food. And then I think that somehow relates to it's deeper. I think we even need to understand like what would be the let's first see the remaining video and then we can like discuss more what would be the roots of this. What else she continues to tell?
This is 18, right? Yeah, social structure is colorism embedded in marriage markets. She's discussing about this.
Definitely. Like
Right.
again, this is one more consequence, right?
Right.
Like I said, if you're looking at a bright person as someone with more value, then you will definitely want the same kind of bride, basically. And if you see in marriages, grooms are mostly like women don't care and men do care because and I think there is a reason for that because a successful man can be dark person like women really don't care. I think this is a very separate topic where hypergamy and everything comes up. But for a woman seeks stability, wealth, security, these kind of things.
Provider.
And a man being dark has nothing to do with all these things. A dark person can be a billionaire, he can be a strong, he can be providing security, he can be a leader, doesn't matter. That's why they don't really care much.
Yeah. They just
But for
want
men,
beauty.
yeah, but for men, since they're specifically hunting for good genes, this matters because they have been conditioned to see that okay, fairer skin is good. Because you know, like the problem is tomorrow, let's say if you go to Antarctica or somewhere, right? And if like the majority of our population is white,
White.
then the blackness would be more of a in demand kind of thing. You have seen, right? Like some people in America and all, they are painting themselves black. Not painting exactly, but they look at the brown color and they're like, oh my god, I want that color and all. So I have seen this happening in some
I've
instances.
never observed that.
Basically, so there's a reverse fad in a sense. So this happens because like I think there's this thing, right? Like if I'm a man, I have to choose between these things. I'll want to go for the rarer one, whatever is rare, right? But again, like I can go for the darkest color as well, but I don't do that. But there's still definitely we have to accept that there is a preference towards white, but again he'll choose for the that kind of thing. And like I said,
She also mentioned the same thing that fairness strongly affects female desirability.
but it's not just a fairness. If you see if there are like two women, one is like decently fair, one is very fair but very fat, and decently fair but slender enough. Men will prefer her.
Correct.
Or let's say even if there's average looking girl who's like extremely hot physically, very sexy looking attire and everything, they will go for her.
Correct.
So
Correct.
men don't really care only for that
Only
fairness
for the
factor.
color.
They care for that, the composition of the body, the structure, the weight or something, not too small. Like they only want their genes to be passed on successfully, so they're looking a perfect reproductive mate for them, and there are like so many factors to determine that. Fairness is
Right.
just one of them. So I think it's more than just like thinking that I only want a fair bride, because rarely would you accept a person who's like very obese, which is fair, because it's likely that will die. It is a scientific fact. A more person who's more obese is likely to have more diseases with them,
Correct.
and that's very more likely to not have a proper child with them. So I think that's how it propagates.
Right. Right.
Okay, what else do we have?
This is, has anyone challenged colorism historically? So
Okay,
these are the movements people have done for racism.
and have there been any?
Gen Z, yes, activists, artists, and public figures have spoken against fairness narratives. Gen Z is reclaiming the identity and rejecting inherited shame.
Basically, they
So
also
progress is uneven.
forced Fair and Lovely to rename it to Glow and Lovely, something like that, right? That is a good thing. Basically, if you're like, if your brand name is just saying that you have to be fair to be accepted by society, then that brand should change its
Correct.
branding and everything. That was fine.
So then she's talking about what society should do now.
This is also good if you see, like they are open and confident about their looks and everything. But the problem is, right, this is very minority, like 0.1%. And the comments here you see are all fabricated, to be honest. However, we think that they are all pleasing and all. The point is, these comments are empowering. They don't reflect truth as much as their intention to basically empower these people or saying, right?
Agree. Yeah.
So that's what I feel.
Unfair and lovely. Someone mentioned.
Yeah,
this
that's
was unfair and lovely. I'm gonna include a few beautiful brown friends.
so this only works when there is active push against something. Like if you see feminism, then you will see so many comments like Google, Uselay, etc., in a
Right.
post. They don't really care about that person itself. They only care about pushing that narrative, and they just feel that this
Because,
person is a medium for that.
Right. Because they make them feel ki हाँ भाई we are also
The
doing
person
something
might
good.
feel okay, see I'm this and that, but it's not about the person itself who has posted.
Correct.
It's more about propagating their own ideology, and the person is just a medium that they found randomly.
Yeah. Correct.
So, and that's why it won't, because hollow motivation won't last long. If the same person starts putting the same thing, maybe 10 posts, 20 posts, at one point the reach will decrease, and the same girls will stop doing the same thing. Why? Because their motivation has reduced now.
Right.
They're not seeing the returns on the same thing, and now it goes into maybe even jealousy. Like this person is getting so much views, and we were empowering him for no reason, and now she has got an ego or something, whatever it is, right? It goes into that kind of games. What happened to your empowerment now? You're not commenting on the post anymore. So
So people do empower people until they are onto some success or something like that.
and if you see examples of this actually happening, yeah, you will see some models and all, but this will always remain a non-mainstream thing. Just because some people are revolting against it, that doesn't turn it an overnight, revolution, because it's in the people's mindset. You cannot erase that. Because the society just gives you some creative freedom to express your opinion. That's why these posts are there, and that's why they get. This person is not getting the fame and everything objectively because they are dark. They're just getting it because there is an anti-stream of thought which supports being dark and being okay and everything, and still being loved and everything.
So yeah, it's kind of
If
rebellious mindset also for the people.
Yeah, if tomorrow society,
trying
let's
to
say,
do something or extraordinary from what others are doing.
yeah, that's one case. But let's say if tomorrow suddenly everything flips, and if the all the black people are equally treated with white people, she'll stop getting all that much attention.
Correct.
Because she's now just an average person.
Right.
Everything, right? So that's the reason when I see these reels, I feel like they're not scalable. You cannot create a revolution with this.
Correct.
And it's not something about her that she's getting so many likes for. She's just being used as a medium for providing
To spread that.
narrative. And because this narrative has been like so much of effort has been put into spreading this narrative, this only scales a bit. This will linearly scale with the efforts it's been put into, which linearly scales with the people who are backing this. And the people who are backing this will always remain a minority, who are like educated enough to feel all these things, that they want to override their conditioning and everything and project these kind of things. They'll always remain a minority because majority of the world is like just feeling, sensing, thinking, listening. They don't really think much. That's the reason I think this cannot go mainstream.
The same thing actually happens everywhere, not only in fairness, but people, some people doing some startup which are actually not that scalable, but just because they are doing something extra,
New or different,
new or
and they get
different, so-
funding and everything. Yeah, NGOs can be said one of that.
yeah, that was my
That happens a lot. What are the last point, I guess?
what society should do now. Then what is the ultimate goal? So she says the ultimate goal, stop seeking foreign validation and dismantle internalized hierarchy.
Wait, what's the final goal? To
Stop seeking foreign validation and dismantle internalized hierarchy.
okay, stop seeking foreign validation. Like this is just saying
Okay,
something like
okay.
you are poor, then stop being poor.
This is again the like they try to give that
No, this is not a
surface level
solution.
motivation.
This is not a
to
solution. This is
people.
just like, hey, you are poor, stop being poor. Yay. Like, this is not how it works, right? You have not still addressed the root. Like you still don't know. You just say that okay, stop seeking foreign validation.
Then
Like
they said, okay, take pride in history, take pride in identity, take pride in biology, and yeah.
see, this is I feel is again wrong. Like you're taking pride in what? That you have black genes? Like this is again like isn't this just opposite version of what they were doing? They were saying take pride in white genes. You are saying take pride in black genes. When ultimately you should just be neutral about it. This is not something you have earned or something you have like done by yourself. You are born with it. What's there to take pride in this? Why build a fake identity around things you don't even have a control over or things that you didn't even earn by yourself? So I feel yeah, this might help temporarily to shift that arrow in the reverse direction. But if people start doing this in mainstream, same issue will happen, but now in a different spectrum. And then the white people will say like, why are we being treated badly and all and all. So I think,
But I think the majority is so high that will never happen probably.
it happens usually. In example, in USA basically, whites are majority. They were majority. They still fought for the black people. They still fought for their rights and everything. Now the black people are asking for reparations or something.
Air pressure.
Reparations. Basically, financial aid that you did wrong to us, so give us money to fix it.
Oh.
And like there are so many things like that. So and these people are feeling guilty, and like many of them like are like, nay, we should give them reparations and everything. So I think majority, physical majority doesn't always work. It's like how many people are towards a particular cause. That creates a majority, something like that. So, anyways, okay. So, stop checking for validation is not a solution. This is not how it works. This is basically an anti-solution. So let's say if a person is hungry, like this is not a solution. This is just telling them to not do something, but this doesn't tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second thing is dismantle internalized hierarchy. Basically, to destroy people's perception that things are unequal. But it's not, but this assumes that people have been injected into this particular thing. But I think that's not the case. If you see, no one taught me that black people are like inherently bad and all. There were some elements of that I see from media and everything, but it's my own perception as well.
Conditioning.
It's my own perception as well as a person, that what I see in the world is what I believe, right? I have my own agency as well.
The whole perception built because of the societal conditioning itself.
And they don't address that why this perception is being built. What is root cause? They had to. What I felt was they should have addressed or thought more about what exactly is the root cause and then how do we fix that. They just discussed such superficial like what happened because of that or what should happen or what have things have been taken. But this is all about thinking about, okay, I have seen some spots on your skin, and I have seen you are having some cough, and it would be good to basically not have spots on your skin, and I would like to see you healthy. But like, bro, root cause. What's the
Yeah,
issue?
yeah.
So
It's just the superficial, um, what do we call
it's
that?
not a surgery. It's just observation and analysis without trying to go deeper into the things. They did try to see, like, they made their attempt. They said like, okay, this again, like the
They
first thing they
tried
said. Now
going to the
they were like,
history.
when I saw
They
you last
tried to
time,
connect the dots.
you were not this unhealthy. The historical, like Upanishads and so.
Mm.
Okay, fine, but like nothing what of all you have said actually helps me fix myself.
Mm.
You just, if you say yes, don't be, just don't be diseased. Stop your internal assumption that you are deceased.
Mm-hmm.
You are not deceased.
मर जाएगा आदि भाई.
So now the question is then, if after thinking all this, what's our conclusion? What do you think is the root cause of all these things?
Yeah, the mindset itself, right?
What I have concluded is, it's a mindset that is more built by the person himself from the observation of the world than by, like, it could be, let's say, 70-30 split. 30% is something that he was injected with, but his own observation of the world has validated that fact as well. Truly.
Right, right.
And it is not everywhere, right? Like, if I apply for an interview, do people care what color are you?
No.
Mostly. No, right?
No, never.
So they care about your skills and everything. So this is not the end of the world. This is just this happens on a certain particular things. And no, let's say, okay, if you are saying, right, yeah, this is the end of the video, I guess. Okay, so now we look at the world. Like, if you are saying this is the problem with us, then how is it not problem with the other part of the world? mm, there was this term called white man's burden. Have you heard of it?
No.
Basically, 100 200 years back, a person wrote a poem, a white person wrote a poem, White Man's Burden, in which he said that it is a moral responsibility of the white races to conquer the black races and uplift them, because they are
Superior.
inferior and we are normal. So it's our we are superior, but it's not like that. We are just like better than them, and they have been. And if you see, they had cannons, they had all the innovations, and they had everything. They also had the ego of being superior compared to them. And what did these people have? They were living in tribes, and they were living in. That's what they assumed. They also destroyed so many good civilizations, like the civilizations in North America and South America and everything, right? So, but this is what they assume, that it's a white man's burden to uplift or conquer, or like that. That's how this thing happened, right? All these churches and all this colonization. Everywhere they went, they used to establish a church, and they used to spread the missionaries as well. And the missionaries were not like, we have to convert him just because he's a bad person. They were like, they genuinely believed that
they are the superior actually.
No. They genuinely believe that our religion is better because the religion they are uh, holding gives them nothing. Our religion is better because it teaches them morals, it teaches them skills and everything. So they should adopt it for their own.
So yeah, they felt their religion is superior, so that's why they tried to.
Even in Goa as well, they systematically destroyed all the temples that were there. I was like, I went to Goa, I was like, I don't see temples here many. I see many churches. The churches were built exactly using the same stone that the temple was destroyed with. A government order was there which destroyed. Basically, they sent armies and armies kind of to go and destroy every temple you see in our particular territory. Almost 500 temples are documented to be destroyed in a single year. And then they use the same stone to build the churches and everything. So they genuinely feel that by removing people of this rotten religion, we are doing a favor on them by bringing them to our modern Christianity kind of religion. But anyways, what the point was, that's how some of the, like, that's how the expansions happen, colonialism happen, and everything like that. But that's not the point. The point is, why do why don't any other country have this white complexion, or this attraction towards the white skin? Let's say China. They themselves are like old, white looking, so doesn't matter. I guess Japanese also doesn't matter. Korean also doesn't matter. Mm, the Mexicans,
Mexicans are also white now.
actually, Mexicans are like fuck. How would I say? Did you read their history?
No,
It's a very
no.
crazy way. The Spanish people conquered them,
Mm.
and unlike India, where the whites just stayed for a time, they were separate from the population and they just left together. There they mixed with the population, and now today 50% of the Mexicans are like they share half of genes.
Okay.
50% of the
Mm.
Spanish white people, 50% of them, some like this, something like that. Basically, it's very different than India, so it's different. But I don't think they still have. See, the problem is right. So now I see the root cause. The problem is to feel someone inferior is superior. You have to feel that you are inferior. Come to the camera. If I are going
Eat dal kar rahi.
to. Acha. Right. This is the thing. I think the bigger problem of we worshipping white skin is because we ourselves feel that we are inferior.
Mm.
For
Right.
example, you and me, we have some sense of good sense of self-worth and self-respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we see some white person, we won't be like, oh, white person, okay, पैर पड़ता हूँ. No,
Mm-hmm.
because we have developed that. But if you go to a
Right.
village, like I went to with Mac and everyone, right? Everyone used to like take photo and everything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Why? Because the more sense of self you have for yourself, the less you'll project it outside or to someone else. So I think the problem with India is we are a poor country and we have very poor self-esteem, self-confidence, and everything.
Right.
And say when we see people who have better self-esteem, self-confidence, I mean that's visible by their bodily cues, by their communication, by their achievements, by their success and history and our perception of them. Then we project our insecurities over them, and then we start seeing them on a pedestal. Because if this person achieved so many things and everything, then the white, because first of all we know that this person is good or great, and then we just assume that because he's white he's great. That could again be your own illusion. Because this person has 10 good things and he's also white, then we somehow relate those things, two things together, that the white being him being white must have some connection with these things. And that's actually in
Mm-hmm.
some way is the case. If you see a white person, they joke in America, right? Like a white person will get 750 credit score from the birth itself. A black person might not get that. Why is the case? But if you see majority of crimes in USA, like I think 60% are committed by the black population, who's like 12%. So your past matters, not just exactly yours, but your community's past matters and everything matters. That creates a social perception. And I think same thing happens here, and that's why like you just associate stuff together from what you understood of the world so far. And if we focus on our own improvement, our own like eventually India will start getting richer and richer, at least stop being poorer, and then we'll have our more self-esteem, and then we'll stop categorizing people as white means good,
White,
because now then
whitish.
we'll understand, okay, that this person has a wealth because of some other reasons, not just because he's white. When we develop that kind of understanding, that we will stop, because a naive person does not know about morals, ethic, personality. That's not something that he sees, right? What he sees is what he believes. And he sees that this person is rich, this person is not. What's the difference between those people that he can see directly? The skin color, nothing else. That's why he associates it with that.
Mm-hmm.
When he starts developing his own mind to see people are more beyond their skin color, then that thing will drop by itself. You don't have to actually teach people to stop being insensitive or insensitive about all these things. You just teach them better things, and then they'll drop these things like it was nothing. That's what I feel.
So that's how people will
We will stop
improve.
collectively
Mm-hmm.
the way we have stopped right now. At least some people like you and me, this kind of things.
Mm. Quite a long video.
Is it 1%? Damn.
No, 4%.
That's
I hope Aevytv don't put some copyright.
I don't think they will. I think yeah, it's time. I guess time to sleep.
Yeah,
Three
we should
nineteen.
stop now.
Uh, Conclusion?
Thank you.
Any remarks? How did we do, or how did we stop being camera conscious when we actually started discussing about the thing
Yeah,
itself.
so we were just continuously laughing before starting the video itself.
That's fine. I think that's a memory.
And yeah, it
That's
was
good. I think
good
we
actually.
did actually understood some things and
Mm.
clarified ourselves, and maybe our conclusion is still not that good compared to maybe. I think it's still more deeper than what she has presented, but maybe it depends on her audience as well. Right? If she goes that deep, maybe audience might not be able to relate or think all these things. The same
Yeah.
problem that we were discussing, that the people could not relate with the abstract concept. Same thing happens with her as well. Her problems are
Right.
here. Her audience is not like some high level intellectual, so she has to discuss
Make it
surface
surface
level
level.
things.
So,
Okay, makes sense.
even if like you saw, right, lot of deep analyzed content don't get much views, and they actually found views, so makes sense for them.
Then you have to like basically find a balance. She prefers getting more count or view count or being more popular. We
Right.
prefer being in a niche community of where deep thinkers, because I think ultimately if only one of us, if there are only hundreds of us and there might be millions of them, but if only one of us actually goes to the root, then that single person can eradicate the whole problem on the root. This 1 lakh people will never be able to do the same thing. It's just going and finding that one single, just invent the bulb once, and then it could be mass produced.
Correct.
To solve all the problem. So this is what our goal is basically. It's good that her goal is also to spread awareness about this, but I think that's where we differ a bit. Both have their own intentions to begin with.
And I also feel there's the actual point where creativity comes. How do you put even more deeper items in a more consumable manner?
I think we can do, but like that's like, I think, see, anyways, our video might reach 10, 15, 100 people at max. Her is reaching lakhs, so she's also doing more impact than us maybe. But again, like we are also looking forward to reach some specific kind of people who can
Correct.
interact with us in that wavelength.
Yeah.
It's why I think it was good, and we did good. This was a good first video, I guess, but it's like a bit lengthy and there's not much video production quality or audio production quality, or
And
we
also the
did not cut
structure.
it. Neither we had structure or script or anything like that.
Yeah.
But still, I guess it was good start. I guess we can do more of this now.
Oops. Sorry.
With less of self-esteem issues.
This video took us like 3 weeks.
Nah, at least we started, right? We were like just sleeping, and we would have not done this. You would have went back to his room tomorrow and anything.
Yeah, it's 3:20 by the way.
3:22 a.m. in the morning.
3:22 a.m. And yeah.
Okay,
we
I think it's
finished
good.
it.
We will not just like waste more of their time, and cool. Thank
Yeah.
you. See you in the next one.
Bye. आजा भाई.
हो गया ना?
वो आ नहीं रहे हो.
छोड़ो, उसको ऑफ कर दिया था शायद. आ
ये
गया.